Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our latest program. We are excited to share this with you guys. This is a new program that we're developing for our youth. It's called Youth Pathways Entrepreneurship 101. It's a new program developed to, talk about people that want to start their own business. If there's any youth out there that have hobbies, that are interested in making some money, that want to start their own business, or, they believe they're entrepreneurs, or you want to learn more about what it is to be an entrepreneur, this would be the program to do it with, right? So today we're going to have just a brief new student orientation session. We're going to talk about a little bit of what the program is going to offer you guys in regards to entrepreneurship. So before we get started, I just want to introduce our team. First, we have Pamela Ward, who is our career navigator. She was supposed to present this morning, but she's having some technical difficulties with her mic. So just a little bit about Pamela. She is our career navigator for Career Compass, but outside of Goodwill, she also has some entrepreneurship experience with the nonprofit world. So hopefully we could have her back at a later session to talk about that. We also have Nakia, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Nakia Charles. If you haven't already known who I am, I'm the orientation instructor. I've always had entrepreneur spirit. I've started several businesses. I can't say that all of them have been successful, but I definitely have started from scratch. And I guess the reason or how I got even into entrepreneurship, my grandfather came to this country from the West Indies with like 2 cents in his pocket. And with those 2 cents, he ended up becoming a business owner. He owns several businesses. He started out putting installing bathtubs into Harlem, and then eventually ended up becoming he owned a couple of laundromats. So that I guess the entrepreneur spirit has always been in kind of like in my blood. So I'm always looking for opportunities and ways to open new businesses or try my hand at something to see how I can try and make that work for me. So that's a little bit about Nakia.
Okay, thank you so much, Nakia. So my name is Luis Alcapina. I'm the resource coordinator here for Goodwill. My job is to provide resources to our participants. If you guys are dealing with any kind of barriers, we're here to assist you. Just like Nakia mentioned, I myself have some background and some history with entrepreneurship. Both my grandparents were carpenters by trade. I know my mom and dad had started a small grocery store when they were younger, before they had me. But I never really pursued it. I never had an interest for entrepreneurship. I went to school, I got my degree in psychology, and, one of my biggest hobbies or passions was film and photography. I collect dozens and dozens of movies, and it was just something that I love to do in my spare time. I started to, shoot video and record content for almost 10 years now, but never thought about doing it professionally until a couple years ago out of necessity. I was working at Goodwill full time. In the evenings, I was working a retail job just to try to pay my bills, and it wasn't working out. And a friend of mine offered me to pay me to do a little video snippet of his wife. They were doing like a little collage of her birthday, and that's kind of where it all started. So I'm fresh in the game. It's only been 3-4 years since my first business, and I'm excited. I'm a student of entrepreneurship myself, and I'm
4 years. Sorry to jump in. 4 years.
Well, it is 4 years now, yes. And, I'm just excited about this new world. It's a new venture. It was something that was in my family, just like Nakia said. So we're excited to share that with you guys as well. Okay. All right. So let's jump right into it. So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is launching your own business, right? It's freedom. It's supply and demand. What do you like or have an interest in? How can you make some money off this interest, right? It could be anything you're doing. You could be, doing music. You could be writing books. You could be doing podcasts, doing content for Instagram. You could be a DJ, whatever it is, right? So what do entrepreneurs always have? The first thing that I see that entrepreneurs always have is we are dreamers, right? It starts with a dream. It's okay to dream. Dreams are free. And that's how it pretty much starts. You're a hustler. You like to work very hard. No matter what, you're not going to give up. You love what you're doing. You have a passion for it. That's how you know you're an entrepreneur. You could be an artist too, right? You're also a leader because, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to open up your own business, you're going to have a team or a staff, and you want to be a leader for them as well. And you want to succeed along with that, right? You also want to be creative. And like I said, you never give up no matter what. And Nakia said she had multiple businesses, right? she's still doing it. She's still going, moving forward. So that's an entrepreneur. That's how we're going to show you guys how to become one, right? Okay, next one, Nakia.
Are you an entrepreneur? So just based on that question alone, you have to ask several questions like, what would be the intro class to entrepreneurship? So if there's anything in this world that you would like to do, like what would it be? So you have to start from like those base questions right there. So like that's the initiative of it. Like what is something that I really thoroughly enjoy? What are my favorite hobbies? What are the things that I would do in my spare time or what I do for free? Like you start to ask yourself these questions. You're just trying to figure out like how you can take those things and actually turn it into a business that can actually generate some type of income for you. So I can turn those interests and those hobbies and actually make money. So like that is like the whole thing about being an entrepreneur. So like there's a quote that says like, if you love what you're doing, then you'll never work a day in your life. So if it's something that you really thoroughly enjoy and you're thinking about like, this is something that I absolutely love and I would do for free, like the bonus is that you're actually getting paid for it and you're making it a business and it's generating income and it's bringing in money. Because these are things that you would do for free, like again, it will never feel like you're working at all. It will always feel like it's something that you love to do. And like the bonus or the cherry on top is the fact that you're actually getting paid for it. So Goodwill wants to be able to assist you with starting your business and working your way to becoming an entrepreneur. Next slide.
Okay, so what do you do first? So obviously, you sit down and think about what it is that you love to do, like Nakia said, and what is the product? What are you selling? What is the service that you're providing? Once you have that down, then think about your company name, right? It has to be something that means a lot to you. It's something original, something spunky that's gonna, pretty much attract attention. And then we're gonna show you guys in future sessions how to get that name, how to get a domain on for your website using GoDaddy, Squarespace, Wix. But these are pretty much the first steps that you have to do. Think about the product, the service, what is your company name, and then figure out how you're going to use that name and what social media are you going to use, right? So, for example, some companies get their content or their work or their contracts from like Instagram, from YouTube. Some, do well with Facebook. Others do well with, face-to-face. So think about that. So we are going to have future sessions where we're going to discuss that or bring in some professionals that will show you how to do that as well. All right. And then, of course, once you have that established, the very, very first step is the legal aspect of the business. So I know Pamela's not on right now, but eventually she is going to connect us with a couple of partners from the SBA, which is the Small Business Administration. We do have connections also with the Queens Public Library and the Brooklyn Library, who are going to share with us their entrepreneurship program and the aspect of, making your business legal, right? So when we talk about that, we talk about, your business plan. You have to have a business plan, what it is that you're trying to accomplish, how big do you want your company to grow, how to get started. You also have to think about if you want your business to be a nonprofit, meaning, for example, like social services, churches, stuff like that, or you want your company to be for profit, right? So all that, the SBA will have an entire workshop to show you guys how to do that. Also very important is your EIN numbers, your tax ID, how to do your taxes. If you're gonna have a staff, how to pay your staff, how to do your W-9s, profits, overhead, and, pretty much working with subcontractors. Because sometimes your company might actually end up working outside of, your current partners, and you might have to work with subcontractors. So they're gonna show you all the legal aspects of that. Right? So stay tuned for that. We will be having those presentations in the next couple of weeks. Okay, Nakia?
So our workshops, and just to piggyback off of what Louis just said about having those workshops in the next couple of weeks. So we're here to actually assist you on your journey, on your road to becoming an entrepreneur and entrepreneurship. Again, because it's freedom, and it's actually something, like I said, you thoroughly enjoy doing and that you actually get paid for. So it's like turning your hobby into a business. How do I get clients and customers? Usually it's by word of mouth. You'd be surprised how far word of mouth still goes. in a good way and in a bad way. So you always want to be cognizant of the type of image that you're putting out there, because people will always remember it. And like word of mouth is something that's probably never going to go away, because it can harm your business in a bad way, and it actually can make your business excel in a good way. So that's definitely a way to get clients and customers for sure. That's something that's been around forever, and it probably will never go away. Networking and marketing 101. So social media, using those social media platforms that can help you market your business in a better way. So it's like, how do I use social media to promote or advertise my business? We can have a workshop about that to give you a full understanding of like what exactly you need to do. Legal terms, licensing your business. So kind of what, piggybacking off the last slide with what Lewis touched on in reference to having businesses and setting up your EIN and making sure that your business is a liable business and is actually legit with the state. So like you for example, correct. For example, you have you're a barber. I mean, I'm just taking something off the top of my head, and you want to make sure you have your barber's license to do business in that state. Websites versus social media platforms. So in today's day and age, like some businesses don't even have websites anymore. Some people only do or have businesses based off of maybe like Facebook. You might be able to get a business account, a Facebook business account, and you can generate all your traffic there, and you can actually do business strictly directly through Facebook and not having to actually get a website. That you have to figure out what works best for your business. Like maybe your business, or you're generating enough traffic that you need a website, and maybe you're too large for just having a business page, Facebook business page. But maybe in the beginning, all you might need is just a Facebook business page, or even social media as far as Instagram. You may be able to generate a lot of business strictly through Instagram and not have the website overhead. So it all depends on where you're at or what you're doing and where you're at with your business at the time. You might want to start off small, and then you never know, it grows, and then next thing you know, you're a Fortune 500 company. Business cards. Do we need them? At this point in time, like, are people really using business cards? I mean, especially in lieu of COVID-19, do we even want to exchange business cards at this point? Exactly. I mean, so like but you still want to be able to have something that's available for people to have your contact information on it. So you may be thinking about in terms of maybe a virtual business card or something that you can send to people that actually has all of your contact information on it, your email, so that people can get in contact with you and then have the opportunity to get potential clients and potential customers that way. Because I mean, the mindset of an entrepreneur, everybody is your customer. Everybody you come in contact with is a potential client, is a potential customer. What can I sell them? How can I give them my service? How do they need my service? So you want to keep in mind of those type of things, that these are different workshops that we can have to help you, engage you to becoming an entrepreneur. And reinventing yourself workshop. So like it could be as simple as like maybe you lost your job, or maybe you just kind of feeling a little stuck and like maybe like there's something else that I can do. Maybe you want to have a different way to generate some type of income and maybe have some passive income in the meantime. And maybe you like real estate and you're thinking about, I have a couple of dollars and I can actually invest in that. Or maybe you have a candle service that company that you want to start because you love scented candles. Like it can be anything. And then that way you love, because you do candles on Saturday. And like now, just because now you started off doing candles on Saturday and now you're starting to make money because you're selling to your friends and your family, and like they're telling their friends and so forth and so on, and it goes and continues. And now you're making passive income in addition to having your regular 9-to-5. So it's just about like figuring out what are those things that you're interested in, and how can Goodwill assist you in trying to turn those hobbies and interests into a business that's actually beneficial for you. Podcasting. So nowadays, it's like podcasting has become huge. It's like a really huge market right now. And but then you have to like, let's just scale it back a little bit. Like, what exactly is podcasting? Like, a lot of people, like, you hear about it, but you don't really know exactly what it is. And you kind of like figuring like, well, I think I might know what it is, but I'm not really sure. So just to figure out like what podcasting is, it's kind of like, the best way to describe it is like Netflix for radio. So you have an opportunity to like pick any genre, any topic, any business, anything that you're interested in, because you'd be surprised how many other people are interested in that as well. And you can actually go to these particular platforms and listen to a whole bunch of information or ideas, or people like, you know, discussing different topics in reference to what your interests are. So you can think about that and kind of get the wheels turning that way. And then it's like, well, how do I create a podcast about my business? So I'm just going to use the candle thing again. So, because that's like the first one that came to my mind. So you might have like let's say like some new scented candles that you want to promote or whatever, but you may not even have all of the information about these scented candles. So you can go to a podcast and like someone else who also has a scented candle business, and it can give you some ideas, and you're like, oh, okay. And then that's how, you know, podcasting works as far as like getting content that's relatable, so that people are interested in what you're discussing. And if they have the same interests as well, then they can kind of like grasp and get the ideas, and you kind of share the information, and it goes back and forth that way.
It's like building a voice through a platform.
Correct, exactly. So how do I get subscribers? Like, how do I get people to listen? Like, how do I get people to listen to me or tune in? How do I use my contacts to work for me? Again, that's word of mouth. Like, people, you tell a friend. You'd be surprised how many people you have in your own personal contact list. And then like, it's like, tell a friend that tells a friend. How many people have one friend that knows at least, let's say, 50 people, and then those 50 people tell 50 people, and so forth and so on. And then that's how you create more subscribers. That's how you create more people actually listen to, especially if your content is good and people like, you're funny, you're informative, you know, it feels like, oh, I can't wait to tune in. Like, I'm interested, I'm conveyed in what this, or I'm captivated in what this person has to say. And that's how you end up getting more subscribers that way as well. How do I start a YouTube channel? How do I get people to watch? So like, even with YouTube, so you can actually drive your business from podcasts over to YouTube. So you can discuss like, hey, check us out on YouTube, where and I'm going to use the candle example again. So now you're showing people how to make the candles, and you're like, you starting in your kitchen, but you know, you're growing this business, and it ends up growing so big that you end up having like a whole company that, you know, shows you how to make candles from like start to finish. So is driving those same numbers, or those same subscribers, or those same listeners, into turning them into viewers, because now they've been listening to you on a podcast, and you've been talking about what you've been doing, and because they can only hear you, and you can drive the traffic to YouTube, and then they can see you, which brings the next topic. So how do I get advertisers? So now that you're driving all of this traffic from originally from your podcast now to your YouTube, because now people are watching, and then that's when advertisers are looking at it like, oh my gosh, this particular channel is getting a lot of hits. This particular channel is getting a lot of traffic. And now they want to partner with you so that they can advertise on your page, because they know at 3:00 on Sunday, she's going to have 175,000 people watching, and I need to capitalize off of those people as well. So that's when you start to get advertising dollars. So that's how you start to monetize off of the social media platforms. How do I market my business online? Again, it's the same as the social media is your friend. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those things are your friend. I know some people kind of like shy away from it because that's, or maybe only if you're using it in a personal way. But if you using it for business is absolutely beneficial, because you have it's like a smaller way to hit a huge market. So back in the day, they didn't have social media, and like people had to pay more money for marketing, or more money for advertising, whether you like putting an ad in a magazine or something like that. But nowadays you don't have to do it that way, because it's really like unnecessary. You can really do everything by your fingertips on social media, and you just have to market it in a way that works best for your company. What are trends of these social media platforms that I can use to maximize my exposure from my business? So even with that, like for example, you know, with the climate of the culture right now, you think about COVID-19, and you have to think about like, how can I use this trending topic to benefit my business? So you have to like maybe put out a statement in reference to how my business is handling the whole COVID-19 pandemic. Or even with Black Lives Matters, like right now, that's huge. So you want to know, like you want to be able to add those trending topics to connected to your business, so then that way you can still become relevant. That way you still people still know who you are. They know that you care about your community. They know that you're taking steps forward to do the things that actually make a difference, and you're still keeping yourself relevant, and you're still on their market, you're still on their radar. Like, oh, okay, my candle business is still viable because they are supporting the Black Lives Matters movement, and so forth and so on. How do I get listeners or viewers to become customers? So it's like you got these people listening now, right, because of the podcast, and then you turn those people into viewers, because now they're going on to YouTube, and now they're looking just based off of what they heard. Now they're looking at you on YouTube, and now it's like, okay, well, now I got your attention. How do I get them to go in their wallet and break out their wallet and actually purchase what I'm selling? And we can actually help you with that as well. Like there's different marketing tools or whatever, that you just have to make yourself very interested and marketable enough that people would want to to buy what you're selling, whether it's a service, whether it's whether it's an actual tangible item, and so forth and so on. I think that's it. Next one.
Very good. Thank you so much, Nakia. So we could tell that's Nakia's baby, the podcast. She loves podcasts. And just to share with you guys, Nakia, also, I did participate in my first podcast experience right before COVID-19 hit. It was very nerve-wracking. I never did it before. Basically, one of my partners wanted to interview us, and the topic that they had was, struggles in the business. What sacrifices have you made to start your business? So I definitely recommend this to all the business owners. If you could get yourself involved, like Nakia said, with podcasts, but also use it as a way to promote yourself, because like Nakia said, 50 people know 50 people and so forth. And for us, after that podcast, we definitely got a couple more contracts. I mean, granted, they're on hold right now because of COVID-19, but I think that's another platform that you could use. So if you could go out and search for people that are doing podcasts, they're always looking to build their content. Just look at what they want to talk about. What's their discussion topics? If it's something that you could offer as an expertise, so that you could share your experience, get yourself involved with that. It goes a long way. So it's networking, but it's also promoting your business at the same time, right?
Correct.
All right, the next one, sharing the love. Nakia, you want to talk about this? The businesses that we have planned and we have set up for our participants?
Sure. So sharing the love. So there are several different companies that Lewis and I, and Pamela as well, are affiliated with. And those businesses, they can be anything from someone who's been in the business for a long time, or someone who's starting out, and on all different scales as to just to see like where they're at and what services or what services that they can provide, or products that they can provide. So there are different vendors that will come in and actually speak with you in reference to how they got started, what they do to monetize in their business, how long they've been in businesses or business that they've had that failed, but then they came back and started something new and they were able to strive in that particular business. The do's and the don'ts, the things that you want to look out for. The best thing about, like, I would say personally about like starting a business that doesn't work is that you find out everything that you did wrong and you don't do those, you don't make those same mistakes again. So it's not really like a bad thing. Like, you look like, all right, yeah, I started this business, but it really didn't do much. But then like moving forward, you don't want to get discouraged, because moving forward, you know what not to do or what didn't work. So then that way, when you start this new business, you can actually get ahead or be ahead of the curve, so to speak. So these are different people in the business that'll come in and like just explain exactly what their guest speakers, so to speak, and just explain like, you know, what their business is and what they do. The protest movement for Black and Latino owned businesses, that's very important because right now, like the climate of the culture is very intense. So those things, having those showcase hard work and struggle and dedication to our businesses, but also how we give back to our community is extremely important right now. And that's definitely something that we can have someone come in, a guest, and just like explain or in detail, more detail about exactly what they do. Clothing, hairdressers, food vendors, music artists, and so much more. So there's like, I know a whole bunch, and so does Lewis, and so does Pamela. Like, I guess everyone knows someone who's an entrepreneur, or or just has like a hobby or business. Like, for example, my mom, she crochets blankets, and then she started selling them. And that's just something that she likes to do while she's watching TV. But she's very talented, so she's able to make those blankets, and like now she just made a couple of dollars off of it, and it's not even something that she thought she would be doing, but you know, I guess you can say she's an entrepreneur as well. So that we're definitely going to have different sessions so that you can kind of get your like information, so you can kind of get your foot in the door and figure out like what exactly do I want to do, and who are these people that are in this industry already that can assist.
Exactly, right. And so how we want to do it is we want to make it fun for you guys. So we're definitely going to do podcasts, you know, probably hosted by Nakia. We definitely want to do a couple of TV shows. We want to make it fun. We want to make it engaging, right? So we're looking for anybody who's a DJ, who's a music writer, a rapper, you know, you like to braid hair, you like to bake cakes, whatever it is. We are going to definitely have, like Nakia said, different people coming in at all different levels, people that have just started, people that are already, you know, making millions of dollars, or they're halfway in, or they had a couple businesses. But we definitely want to bring that into you guys in the next couple of weeks. Right? Okay.
Or if you like to take pictures, you know.
Oh, yes. We have a photographer on the line. Okay. That's right. Absolutely. We're definitely going to have a photography session on that, Dominic. Stay tuned for that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's next, Nakia? How do we sign up for these classes?
What's next? After you've gotten all of this information about this great orientation about entrepreneurship and how to be an entrepreneur, what is the next step? So the next step would be to just sign up for our classes. So that way we know that you're interested, so that we can get people engaged, people involved. You sign up using your email address, your name, your interests, your hobbies, your business ideas, and also send us some suggestions of things that you would like to see the entrepreneurship program. Maybe it's something that we haven't touched on, but it's something that you're interested in, and maybe we can find somebody in that field that can actually come in and speak to you about it. By all means, we want you to get engaged. We want you to be proactive in trying to start your own business, and any way that Goodwill can assist, we're there to do so. Like, it's very important still, like, because of the youth, you know, you kind of like trying to still navigate your way through life, and you may not even know exactly what you want to do, but you know what your interests are. And if we can assist you in taking those interests and actually turning it into something that you love, like something that you can actually make money from, or have a career from, because people think that entrepreneurship is not a career. That's a career as well. So you can take those interests and those hobbies and kind of like figure out, maybe like school is not for me. like maybe in the future you might want to take business classes, but entrepreneurship may be the avenue that you want to take, just let us know and we'll try and figure something out for you so that we can help, because we're here to assist. And you can sign up for the entrepreneurship program by emailing Louis Pina and hit at his goodwillny.org email address. It's on the slide.
Yes, so if you guys want to sign up, it's LAUCAPINA@goodwillny.org. Again, this is just for you guys to sign up for the next couple of sessions. We are planning the next workshops, so you'll hear from us once we get your emails. So right before we give our closing remarks, do you guys have any questions for us? Any comments, suggestions? We're opening up the floor.
Louis, you have a question. One young lady, and I think I know who she is, I just can't pronounce it. She asked about, what about banners as business cards?
That's a good idea. That's definitely good. You could definitely use banners and make sure you have your website on it, your contact info. A lot of people are also doing LCD screens, so if you could have that projected on a table, depending on what your service is, and you could just kind of have, showcase a couple photos of your work, but again, all digital. Like Nakia said, like the business cards after COVID-19, we're not too sure about that, flyers as well. Also recommend, if you have a uniform, if you're wearing outfits that have your logo on it, make sure maybe on the back it has, right? On the back, it has your website, your contact info, your name in the front. If you're a videographer like myself, it'll say Louis, videographer, and my website in the back. So that kind of promotes itself. When you're walking around the venue, they'll see you, they'll be, oh, that's the guy from that company, and they'll take your info down. Right? You want to add anything else, Nakia?
Definitely, just to piggyback off of like the t-shirt thing, like that might be like the best promotion you can do. You have like your logo on something, but like especially if your logo is like eye-catching and it's catchy, or like, oh, I remember like that logo, like it kind of like instills in your brain. Like that is definitely something that you want to do that has like maybe your hashtag on it, or maybe has like your @ symbol, like your handle on it. Even if you don't want to put like your whole full telephone number on it, but if you have like your hashtag or your handle on it, that definitely can help you like self-promote, so to speak, without having to have like the old school business cards.
Exactly, yes. And speaking of logos, that's something we didn't mention on the presentation. We are looking to have somebody come in to talk about logos and how to create the right logo for yourself. We might have an artist coming in to talk about that. So stay tuned for that as well. Any other questions?
Has their hand up. I think it's the same young lady. Jots, please unmute yourself and say thank you.
Yeah. It's just Sandy. Hi, good morning. How's everyone?
Hi.
Good. Good morning. We're good.
Well, I have a question. So
Sure.
this is very I feel like everything is leading, like it's going really good for me. I think it's a sign for me to start my own business. Last night I actually took the risk and started purchasing a lot of things for me to start my business. So waking up and receiving a call for a meeting for entrepreneur is just like, it's coincidental, but I feel like it's very, I guess it's
It's a good feeling.
a good feeling, yeah.
Well, they say
like,
there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
But I have a question. So
Sure.
I'm doing business, but I'm working as in like private labeling. Would that be like, is it good to do private labeling, or should I consider doing more things by myself?
So when you say private labeling, what exactly is that?
So private labeling is when you're buying off from a market, a wholesale, and like you just give them, like they ask you what do I desire it to be, like the logo font, like the design, everything. So like they just do the work for me. So would that be something that I could get any profit from, or?
So to me, it sounds like that it sounds good when you're starting out, but I can see that becoming super expensive moving forward. What I would suggest you do is maybe like find do a little bit more research and maybe find some place that's not gonna actually like a one-stop shop, only because one-stop shop is gonna carry a lot of overhead. And you might want to be able to find something, another resource that'll help you in those avenues. So then that way you're not spending so much in one area. So then you can allocate those funds to do something else with it.
No.
Basically, you don't want to spend more than you earn for your business if you're trying to start it up.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you could email us so we could do a one-on-one session with you. We'd love to hear more about your business plan.
Okay, sure. I'll do that as soon as I can.
Okay, so we have one sign up. That's great.
Great.
Anybody else? Other questions?
Sonia
Tanisha?
asks, can adults and staff sign up as well? No, just kidding.
No, negative.
Now you're on.
Adults sign up. Adults, well, all I can say for now, adults can definitely refer their youth to work with us. We are trying to see if this pilot program takes off, and hopefully it will. And if it does, then yes, there's talk about potentially opening this up to older adults, because
Okay, so here's my other compromise. If an adult staff or a member, an adult person or a staff that's an adult, has to bring a young person with them to mentor. That's my compromise.
Isha, I love that.
I like that.
Good afternoon, everyone, or morning rather. So to kind of speak to Tanisha's point and to Louis, we are planning on extending these services to the adults in the near future, but for the time being, while we're piloting the program, we want to focus our efforts specifically on the youth in order to provide them with the tools necessary for them to, feel empowered enough to become entrepreneurs themselves. But we are definitely in the works with rolling this out for the adults as well. We're just kind of focusing on the youth right now. So Sonia, I did see that you had an interest in possibly participating. We have offered an opportunity for Compass and Advanced LEP staff to participate in assisting youth pathways with developing different workshops. So if it's something that you are interested in doing, please sidebar us after the meeting so that we would be able to, contact you and flush out the details and what the development of these workshops will look like moving forward. But that's the answer to that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jessica. Anybody else? Any other questions or comments?
Vicky said something about cook, but I'm not sure what she meant, but she can always email us after the fact and give us a little more information.
I think I know. She's Vicky. You said Vicky, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I saw when
Yo, you silly, yo.
Yes, how can I forget about my cooks? So we are gonna have a session how to cook, but how to promote your business, how to promote your plates, your dishes. So we will have a whole session on even how to take photos, professional photos with your own phone. You don't need a professional camera. We're gonna show you how to do that with your phone and take professional shots of your food, your drinks, whatever it is. So for anybody out there interested in culinary arts or cake or baking, we're definitely gonna have those classes for you as well.
Additionally, for those that are interested in cooking professionally or just at home, we will be hosting a session on Monday, Cooking on a Budget. So this workshop pretty much allows you to make gourmet meals using the resources that you have available and being able to provide yourself a great meal on a budget. So please tune in for that. The session will be on Monday at 3 p.m.
Yes, thank you for that, Jessica. Anybody else?
I'm not seeing any more feedback, but I did just learn something recently. I guess I want to share as far as the business cards are concerned. And Nikia made a really valid point on, do you really want to pass out business cards right now? And I'm constantly looking at different videos, and I have my little hustle on the side also. Everybody has something going on. But it was something about utilizing a QR code where you could share a QR code, collect your link, maybe your Facebook page, your web page, whatever. And you can always share that QR code with someone and they'll be able to access your information. So looking into that, and it's very easy to set up. Again, I'm learning everyone's business should be at some point on a level of technology where you're able to share information instantly. And especially now. Yes. And I probably have a drawer of business cards, but it's very easy for me to go to my phone and pull up something if I add it as a favorite or if I'm able to like it or whatever. So if you're able to connect your whatever social media pages you have to a QR code, you can always send that to somebody or have somebody scan it from your phone and you've instantly shared your information. So that's another tip as far as something else as a business card.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Tanisha. See, we learn something new every day.
Yes, I wrote that down.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
I'll send y'all the video that I found.
Oh, I'm weak. So need to watch the videos.
That's everybody.
I say, look, the one thing you know when we come to the program, I always tell you, when you come to me with an idea, you want to learn how to do something, I live and die by YouTube. And I look at how other people do things and how they create and how their technique, their strategies. It's very helpful, and you just adopt what fits for you. And then you make that work. But the thing is, you have to keep at it. You can't just try it, it don't work, and then you stop. It's something you have to consistently do. So I constantly do research on what I do on the side. And I'm constantly always looking for ways to either better it, where can I grow? You should always be thinking 10 steps ahead. So if it's podcasting, it's photography, if it's being a barber, beautician, whatever, you always have to be hustling. So YouTube for me is one of those resources that I think seeing how other people do it really helps you better your skills. So I say hit up YouTube as soon as possible.
That's right.
Absolutely. So right before we close, we actually have one of our youth here, Mr. Dominic, who I'm going to put on the spot right now. Mr. Dominic, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You want to share a little bit about your entrepreneurship experience and how that got started at Goodwill?
Well, when I had started at Goodwill, I do remember that I wasn't actually intending on starting my own business. I was actually going into the business of construction and also security work. But then when I met Louis at Goodwill, it kind of like put me in a whole different perspective, and it made me want to actually do something different with my life as far as video editing, because I didn't realize, how much I actually liked it until I did it. And that's something that everyone should focus on. Like, as far as doing something new, you shouldn't really be afraid of it, or you shouldn't really like turn it away because it's something new, because that something new can end up being something you actually want to do for the rest of your life. And that's what happened in my case. So, and I've come a long way from it too. Like, the progress that I've seen from doing this entrepreneurship, as far as doing my photography and my videography, I've seen way more progress than the years I spent trying to get into the union, trying to be a construction worker. And I enjoy it. I love the hell out of it. Now I'm all happy all the time. I smile more. And it really could take you a long way. Like, if you just take a moment to do something that you've never done before. And so now I work with Goodwill as ambassador, and I also am starting up my own photography/videography company. And and I didn't even know I was gonna be here at all. This is like something that just came out of nowhere, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. But we all know it's mainly hard work and being focused and staying dedicated to something.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Thank you, Dominic. And yes, like you said, it's definitely hard work, a lot of dedication. Dominic actually took one of our pilot classes for editing, and he won a competition. He completed the full class. So Dominic, you want to tell me what happened to you on the day, that Friday when we closed for COVID-19? What special gift did you get that day? That was the last
I had
that we were
finally,
open.
yeah, I had finally received the camera that I had won during the competition for the Halloween event that Goodwill was had me shoot for them. And let me tell you, I wasn't even expecting it either. Like at the end of the day, I was just happy that I was doing something that I enjoyed. So getting the camera on top of it was just a bonus, and it just like it made me push harder.
Exactly. See, so you weren't chasing money, you weren't chasing anything else. You just loved what you were doing. You were learning about it, right? And look, things happen for a reason
Exactly.
because you got that camera, the city shut down, and now you had all this time to practice and learn your craft, play with the camera. So, hopefully once COVID-19 ends, we do have a couple of companies that we want to work with you in terms of your
Yes.
photography and video companies. So we're definitely going to be talking about that later. But excellent work, Dominic. Definitely excellent.
Thank you so much.
All right, so if there's no other questions or comments, we're gonna give you guys a couple closing remarks. So Nakia, you wanna start off? What is your advice to future entrepreneurs, future business owners?
Sure. So my advice to future entrepreneurs and business owners is never give up. And I know it sounds super cliche, but it's
Yes.
actually the truth. You want to it's not an easy job because you're the boss. You're wearing several hats. You're the boss. You're the marketer. You're the person that goes to the post office. You're the fulfillment person. You're everything. You're wearing several hats. As you start to begin to grow, you're only as
It's a
good as
lot of
your team.
responsibility.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely a lot of responsibility, but you're only as good as your team. And it may be something that you might not be good in, that someone else it might be good in, and you can partner with that person. And then that way you can kind of like take some of that responsibility off of you and put it onto someone else that actually excels in that area. And like I said, you're only as good as your team. But I mean, in the beginning, it's just you're the everything person, and it's hard work, but it's all beneficial, and it's worth it in the end. And then you have to be comfortable with, like, sometimes there's no checks, and then there's sometimes when your business is booming and like the money is flowing and it's coming in, but you can't be discouraged, because during those times when you're not getting like a 9 to 5 and you're not getting a check every 2 weeks, so to speak, you have to be still encouraged that you just to know that you're putting in the work and you're going hard for this business that you're striving in so that it can be successful. And it's like the more consistent you are, the more successful your business will be. So you just got to keep working at it. So never give up. Just keep going. Like, it will be some tough roads. It's not an easy task, but it's all worth it in the end.
Exactly.
Consistency is key.
Yep. You were saying something, Dominic?
I was saying consistency really is key.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So for me, for myself, the advice that I give any future business owners or entrepreneurs is never chase money. All right. Like Nakia said, there'll be times when you have no paycheck. The money will come. Trust me, it will come. First and foremost, you need to be a student of the game. You need to practice your craft. You need to build your portfolio, get your clientele, get your network. If you have to do a couple of cheap jobs in the meantime until you get that money, then so be it. But you're doing what you love to do, and that's what's going to make it fun. It's going to be very tiring, but you're going to wake up that next day with that same level of energy, and you're going to be happy to do it all over again, right? The next one is, a lot of people talk about, I have no time, I can't do this. Yes, you do. I call this time versus choice, right? There's always time. It's just that it's your choice if you want to do it, right? Because some people will say, well, I can't be up until 3 a.m, or I have to wake up early, or I have to go to the gym on the weekend. That's a choice, but there is time, and you can make time to do what you love to do, right? The last one is network, right? If you're, for example, like Dominic is going to be a photographer, videographer, right? So he's not going to work alone by himself. He's going to try to work with other people. You don't want to compete with people. You want to network. You want to partner up. A good example of this is, let's say Dominic gets hired for a wedding and he goes to do photography at a wedding. Dominic, I would expect you to introduce yourself to the DJ, to the event planner, to the cake lady. Why? Because you can later on do promos for them. You could work with them, right? So that's one of the biggest things that you could do is network, and build partnerships, right? Absolutely. Okay, so we want to thank you guys for joining us for our first orientation session. Nakia, thank you so much for presenting. Tanisha, thank you for hosting us. Dominic and the rest of the youth, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you guys sign up for our sessions. In the meantime, while we do phase 2, Please stay home, stay healthy, and stay connected. Thank you so much, guys, and have a good week. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you.